what you are today. You are one of the most advanced and successful disciples of Srila Prabhupada. 50% of ISKCON's success is due to BBT, and Srila Prabhupada entrusted you with this responsibility clearly shows how special you are and how dear you are to our beloved Srila Prabhupada. I hope that you will be able to preach Krishna consciousness in the same manner for many more years to serve as an inspiration to all your disciples, followers, and God brothers, including myself. Kindly bless me so that I may become a positive instrument in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Hridyanand Das Goswami. It is a pleasure and an honor to offer a few words for my dear old friend and God brother, Gopal Krishna Goswami, on the occasion of his Vyasa Puja. I first met him in Boston in 1970, and we came to know each other much better in the mid 70s when Prabhupada appointed both of us to his GBC. I'll briefly mention the qualities which I most admire in him. First, of course, he has more than proven himself to be a most dedicated, loyal servant of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Gopal Krishna Goswami has truly given his entire life to Srila Prabhupada's service and has distinguished himself by tirelessly preaching Krishna consciousness throughout the world. With unending determination, devotion, intelligence, and compassion, he has taught, organized, inspired, and guided innumerable souls. Indeed, he is one of the true pillars of our worldwide mission. On his appearance day, I send my affectionate greetings and congratulations to Gopal Krishna Goswami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Prema Leela Mataji. If you are speaking, you're on mute, Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances, dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Giriraj Swami. My first vivid recollection of Sripada Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is from 1973. Before actually seeing him, I had heard about him, how he had studied at the Sorbonne in Paris and then at McGill University in Montreal, and then held responsible positions with Pepsi Cola and Bristol Myers, and how he would come to the New York temple every day and was so humble that he would go around the temple room and offer his obeisances to all the spiritual paintings on the walls. So I had heard about him before I actually met him. For some weeks in 1973, Srila Prabhupada was staying at Seth Bhogilal Patel's palatial home in Walkeshwar, South Bombay. And Gopal Krishna Prabhu, who was visiting India, came to meet with Prabhupada. I was struck by the way the two of them related with each other. Srila Prabhupada dealt with him differently than he dealt with the rest of us disciples. I immediately understood that there was something special about Gopal Krishna. 2 years later, Tamal Krishna Goswami, who had been the GBC for India, returned to America and began the Radha Damodar party. And Srila Prabhupada asked Gopal Krishna to replace him. Srila Prabhupada had told me about him. He had worked for a major international company and had his own private office and a car. I was meeting important people in Bombay, and Srila Prabhupada wanted to impress upon me Gopal Krishna's competence and status. Soon after Gopal Krishna arrived in Juhu, he wanted to visit his mother, who lived nearby in Santa Cruz, and he invited me to accompany him. Again, I was struck by his polite and gentle manner, and by how considerate and respectful he was with her. I was impressed. When most of us youths in Europe and America became devotees, it was hard for us to visit our parents because most of them did not understand Krishna consciousness and were quite hostile to our becoming devotees. So it was unusual, unique. In fact, for me to see such warmth and mutual respect between a non devotee, albeit Hindu, parent and a devotee child. Should I go ahead or should I stop here, Prabhuji?
You can read, Mataji.
Juhu was one of Srila Prabhupada's main projects, and he faced many challenges there. First, in getting the land, then in getting the permission to build the temple, and then in actually building it. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj and I, under Srila Prabhupada's guidance, worked together to deal with them. We complemented each other and thus formed an effective team. We had our own individual approaches and strengths and weaknesses, but we were brought together and bound together by Srila Prabhupada's love and mercy, and by our common love for the surrender to His divine grace. So we dealt with many challenges and intrigued together. I cannot count the times we were together to legal firms, accountants' offices, government departments, and social and political leaders' headquarters to get information and support for our effort on Srila Prabhupada's and Sri Radha Ras Bihari's behalf. And eventually, by their grace, things turned around in our favor, and we finally got the permission to build the temple and built it. Srila Prabhupada said ISKCON was his body, the BBT his heart, and the monies collected his blood. And he entrusted the most important business of publishing and distributing his books in India to Gopal Krishna Maharaj. He was always asking Gopal Krishna, "Where is book? Where is book?" And when Gopal Krishna presented him with a new book, Prabhupada felt great satisfaction in his heart. In 1977, at a most oppressive and repressive time in Soviet history, Gopal Krishna brought Srila Prabhupada's books behind the Iron Curtain very intelligently and resourcefully. Introducing them through a book in a book fair in Moscow, and Srila Prabhupada, just one day before he left this world, asked for the certificate to be read to his god brothers. Books is in the service of peace and progress. A diploma for the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Bombay, given by First Moscow International Book Fair, USSR. How proud and pleased Srila Prabhupada must have felt.
Divya Bhakti Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Gopal Krishna Maharaj always had a tremendous capacity for managing and doing business. Yet, at a certain point, a very deep desire formed within his heart that he wanted to preach. In Juhu, he kept talking about how he wanted to go out and give lectures, but he was so fully engaged with his managerial duties, he hardly had time. Still, it was such a profound desire within him that eventually it was realized. Especially after Srila Prabhupada left, Maharaj became one of the most enthusiastic and dynamic speakers of Krishna Katha in the movement. After Maharaj began to initiate, he was given the honorific title Bhagavat Pad. Bhagavat has two meanings: the book Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the person Bhagavat, in particular for us, Srila Prabhupada. And Pad means foot, or at the feet of. Maharaj is always at the feet of Srila Prabhupada and is always engaged in the service of Srimad Bhagavatam by publishing it and distributing it, and by preaching it and living it. Much has been said about Gopal Krishna Maharaj's many wonderful qualities and activities, his impeccable sadhana, his love for and service to his deities, his care for devotees, especially his godbrothers, his expanding book distribution and developing major projects in India and throughout the world, his cultivating and engaging important and influential people, his tireless traveling and extending himself for the sake of others, his resilience and perseverance in the face of physical illness and challenges, and his staunch and loyal dedication and enthusiastic loving service to Srila Prabhupada. Did you want me to carry on, Prabhu, or
Yeah,
somebody
one
else?
more paragraph.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Although Gopal Krishna Maharaj and I were both attached to Srila Prabhupada and his mission, sometimes we had differences in our understandings or approaches. I tended to be more idealistic and rigid, and he more practical and flexible. So we had differences on the means, what would be most effective or beneficial, though never on the ultimate goal, to please Srila Prabhupada and spread Krishna consciousness. As Maharaj commented, Giriraj and I are like a Vedic couple. We may have differences, but there is no question of divorce. This statement is a testament to Maharaj's dedication to Srila Prabhupada and his kindness upon me, that he tolerated me with all my faults for the sake of keeping me engaged in Srila Prabhupada's service in Bombay while trying to satisfy Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Madhu Krishna Prabhu.
On this occasion, I appeal to all present, including myself, to imbibe that spirit of Sripad Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, to be prepared to make any sacrifice, go to any extreme, and expend any amount of energy for the sake of serving Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am very honored and humbled to have this opportunity to express some of my appreciation for my dear godbrother, Sripad Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. From the beginning, I saw exceptional good qualities in him, and by his service to his spiritual master, his good qualities have multiplied and matured. He is truly a beacon of light in this dark world, in this Kali Yuga. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43 itself, Krishneshvadamapagate dharmanyanadibishaha kalo nashtadrishamesha puranarko dunoditaha. This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. I pray on this occasion that Maharaj will have many, many more years of good health for serving Srila Prabhupada, the devotees, and the mission, that we both will continue to serve Srila Prabhupada even after leaving our present bodies, and that he will forgive me for all my offenses and foolishness, and continue to allow me to serve Srila Prabhupada with him together.
Satchidananda Swami. Since many years, I had the opportunity to observe the extraordinary service of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and my appreciation increases and increases. Only the Lord knows the qualities of his dear devotee Gopal Krishna Maharaj in total. There seem to be unlimited qualities, and whenever I meet Maharaj, I detect more of them. Here, I try to describe some of them. His service spirit. Once I met His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj in a little temple in Russia. He had come a long way to offer his service to the devotees there. I noticed that wherever he is, either in India, surrounded by many big projects, or in Russia, with a small little temple, Gopal Krishna Maharaj is equipoised, thinking only of service to Srila Prabhupada. It seems he does not really live in places, but in his mission to his exalted spiritual master. And the mission is always the same, whether to build a huge temple in Delhi or to visit a small temple in Russia. That mission is to encourage devotees in spreading Krishna consciousness. Gopal Krishna Maharaj's austerity. Wherever Gopal Krishna Maharaj is, he astonishes his godbrothers by his strict sadhana. Even if he went to bed late, he is up the next morning to observe Mangalarti. Once I saw him in Mumbai. He had arrived late that night after a long journey, but our Maharaj is up early in the morning and well. And more so, he was performing the altar service. All around the world, the sight of Gopal Krishna Maharaj performing arti, the deities, is engraved in the hearts of all of his disciples and devotees in general. Dealing with personal health issues. There was a time when Gopal Krishna Maharaj's physical heart was severely attacked. I had the opportunity to call him at that time, and he said, whether Krishna saves me or takes me, that is up to him. I only care about one thing, service to Srila Prabhupada. Gopal Krishna Maharaj's disregard for physical pleasure is exemplary to all his godbrothers. He is fully convinced that he is not the body. His love towards his godbrothers. I feel very happy to be the godbrother of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Wherever I arrive, his well-trained disciples take such nice care of me. And often Maharaj takes time out of his busy schedule and phones to make sure everything is all right. He never has too much to do to not care for his godbrothers. This is very pleasing to the heart. He never tolerates it if anyone speaks badly about any godbrother, and in this way exemplifies the qualities of a true devotee. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prema Manjuli Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll read from the online book. A Vaikuntha man. In all his dealings with devotees and with the public, Gopal Krishna Maharaj wants to make sure that they are happily engaged in devotional service and have everything they need in order to offer their energy and intelligence in Krishna's service. He is very kind and very cultured, and he is extremely attached to Srila Prabhupada and to his service. The world is totally benefited by the presence of such devotees. We should all be very grateful to have such a wonderful example as we find in the life of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. My words are insufficient to do justice to this great servant of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I can only say that I'm very, very grateful to be in his association, and I wish our Gopal Krishna Maharaj many, many years of dedicated devotional service. I pray that his body will remain healthy and that he will always find shelter in the soothing lotus feet of his beloved deities. Gopal Krishna Maharaj is one of our most exalted preachers who have expanded this movement of Krishna consciousness probably more than other disciples. That is possible because he has spiritual strength. Once, Satswarup Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, Satswarupa, Srila Prabhupada, sometimes you say only a very small percentage can take to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada, yes, Satswarupa. But yesterday morning in your lecture, you were saying it can expand to 10,000, million, or 10 million. Prabhupada, yes, if you take the proper way, it can be increased. Satswarupa, is that just up to our preaching? Prabhupada, yes, that will depend on your purified preaching activities. If you again become materially victimized, then you cannot do it. If you remain on the spiritual platform, if you try, then it will increase. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. It will increase. As soon as there is any contemplation of sense gratification, then the spirit will be lost. Morning Walk, Mayapur, 7th April, 1975. I know that our Gopal Krishna Maharaj's sadhana and spiritual life is protected by Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna, and he is therefore unlimitedly spiritually strong to spread the cooling rays of the moon of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. I wish Gopal Krishna Maharaj and his followers all the best and beg to remain his humble servant always. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so as God with us calling a Prabhupada man, Satchidananda Maharaj is calling Vaikuntha man as well. Okay, next is Narad Muni Prabhu.
Vancha kalpatrubhaisha kripa sindhubhaya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Loknath Swami, your Guru Bhakti has rewarded you immensely with such Shakti, empowerment, that Guru and Gauranga have made you their choicest instrument. Let us examine the excellence of your performance over the many years. You opened the most number of temples, made history in the number of books distributed, but countless devotees, organized the maximum number of festivals, worshipped innumerable deities, and cultivated an endless number of government heads, state officials, leaders, prime ministers, and presidents. This is undoubtedly an unmatchable record of a timeless list and a certainty that you will continue with your devotional service. Jai Datta Swami. Among all my God brothers, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj stands out for me as an ideal of avyarth kaltivam, never missing a moment of time. Most of us like to relax, hang out a bit, take a break now and then. But I just have no picture in my mind of Gopal Krishna Maharaj hanging out. On the contrary, whenever I have seen him, he has always been busy in Krishna service, either preaching or organizing or chanting, but always doing something in the service of the Lord. I remember visiting him one time in the hospital. He was weak. He was on an intravenous drip. He needed a machine to help him breathe, but he was on the phone, seeing to some sort of work that needed to be done for Krishna service. This is a sign of ecstasy in devotional service. Love for Krishna or for the spiritual master is not a matter of mere sentiment, but of practical activity in the service of the Lord. And for this, Gopal Krishna Maharaj stands as an ideal example. Mukund Goswami. Gopal Krishna Maharaj is one of Srila Prabhupada's dearmost servants. He is an amazing service for Srila Prabhupada throughout his life. I am honored to know him. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Will. Thank you, Prabhu. We'll pause here and then we'll go to next. I see Devi Murthy Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. It's my turn, right, Prabhuji?
Yes. Oh,
Okay, thank you.
Devi Murthy Mataji.
She can continue.
Okay.
I can do later. Thank you, ma'am. Viswadevi Dasi, dear Gopal Krishna Goswami, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, our eternal spiritual master. I have known His Holiness Gopala Krishna Goswami from the beginning in India when Srila Prabhupada appointed him GBC for all of India, a position he has steadily held and maintained throughout all the changes, uphills, tribulations, and many comings and goings. He has kept his unflattering loyalty and commitment to Prabhupada's mission in India, where it is needed to convey and present a stable leadership in ISKCON. On a personal level, he always encouraged and supported me in my service, letting me get on with it after the many times I went to his office to express my different concerns. He also never fails to ask me every time I come to move back home to India, for which I am very grateful. All glories to your prodigious service, Maharaj. I pray that Krishna keeps you safely forever at Prabhupada and Krishna's lotus feet where you belong. Tattva Saksat Karanahlada Visuddhabhi Stitasya me Sukhani Gospadayante Brahmani Api Jagadguru. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 3.197. You are so beautiful that I am drowning in an ocean of nectar just looking at you. Whatever other concepts I had of happiness are now like puddles of mud. Guru Maharaj recalls in January 1976, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust in Bombay had received a letter from an international agency of the Russian government that imported books into Russia saying, please send us a catalogue of your books. I shared this letter with Prabhupada. Since we had not done any solicitation or any endeavor in this regard. Prabhupada was very happy that the Russian government was appreciating and inquiring about these books. He said, reply to it immediately. In March 1976, Srila Prabhupada entrusted me to preach in Moscow with the mission of putting his books into major libraries in USSR. In the next 2 years, I went to Soviet Union several times, representing the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and successfully presented Prabhupada's books to Russian libraries. In early 1977, at the Moscow Book Fair, the organizers presented me and the BBT with a honorary certificate. Srila Prabhupada was very happy to receive this, and with pride he showed it to everyone who visited and said that his books were being appreciated even in Russia. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry, I misheard
Thank you,
my name.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Srimati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The early days, Giriraj Swami. In 1977, at a most oppressive and repressive time in Soviet history, Gopal Krishna brought Srila Prabhupada's books behind the Iron Curtain, very intelligently and resourcefully introducing them through a book fair in Moscow. And Srila Prabhupada, just one day before he left this world, asked for the certificate to be read to his godbrothers. Books in the service of peace and progress, a diploma for the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Bombay, given by the first Moscow International Book Fair, USSR. How proud and pleased Srila Prabhupada must have felt. Sarva Bhavana Das. In 1990, there was a gathering in Moscow, which I could not go to. Those days, whenever a guru came to Moscow, devotees from all over USSR would come to Moscow. I could not go to this particular program, but I was planning to go for the program the next day. That day, after the program, the devotees distributed some prasadam. They also brought some prasadam for Maharaj. Maharaj questioned about the certain item. What is this? Since it was all prasadam, he kept on eating. There was a big program next day for which we all came, but we were informed by local devotees that Maharaj had to change his schedule as he fell sick. Few devotees, including me, went to see Maharaj. When we went to the devotee's house where Maharaj was staying, the devotee mentioned that they took him to the hospital. We became very concerned and we went to the hospital immediately. There he came to know that Maharaj was poisoned by some suspicious people, most likely KGB in the class. During the programs, all kinds of people used to come, so it was very difficult to keep a track of who was who. The doctor mentioned that Maharaj must have done some really pious deeds in his past life to be able to survive from such a potent poison. Any normal person would not have been able to survive that poison. Maharaj stayed in the hospital for 4 days. It was evident that the KGB wanted to poison him because he was the most active sannyasi and he was really spreading the movement across Russia. In 1988 winters, Maharaj came to Moscow. Next day, we were supposed to have a big program in Moscow, but that very evening, there was a big earthquake in Armenia. Maharaj asked us to cancel the program and take all the money and devotees to Yerevan, Armenia, to help the people there. We went with Georgian and Russian devotees to Yerevan, and we took a place and started cooking prasadam and started mass-scale prasadam distribution. The government was bringing cold meat, but there we were providing hot prasadam by Maharaj's arrangement. It was very cold, and everyone really appreciated this. All the devotees were also touched by Maharaj's compassion. Maharaj was calling every day and inquiring what more can be done to help the people. He said that by giving prasadam, we were already helping people, and it was big preaching already. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Devi Murti Mataji, would you be able to read now?
Yes, Prabhu. Anugraha tumi mura kara mahashaya patita pavana tumi mahakripa maya. O Master, please be merciful to me. You are the most compassionate deliverer of the fallen. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Khanda, 28:108. Potency of Prana Mantra. Dravida Das. In February of this year, when Guru Maharaj came here and gave initiation, he also stayed in the apartment where I cooked for him. And before that, one of my godbrothers said Guru Maharaj is personally present in his Pranam Mantra, that he is non-different from it. I wondered about it. And during that visit, some wonderful incidents happened. The first time when I cooked for Guru Maharaj, he was in his room there. When I had finished cooking and began to offer food on the altar, I put a picture of Guru Maharaj and began to chant Pranam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimate Gopala Krishna Goswami Niti Namani. And then Guru Maharaj came out of his room and right into the room where I was offering the food. He stood there for a while and went out. After honoring Prashadam, he left for a lecture. I stayed in the apartment to cook and chant my rounds. I had done it, and the food had been already cooked, but I had yet to offer. But Guru Maharaj was late, and he did not come on time for lunch. And when everything was ready, I went to offer food, being somewhat upset. I thought that Guru Maharaj was again late due to giving darshans to his disciples and could not even take fresh prasadam. I put all the dishes on the altar and began to chant Pranam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale, Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namani. And suddenly the doorbell sounded. I ran to the door and Guru Maharaj had come. I offered him my obeisances and ran to the altar and again bowed down before him in the form of his picture. The same thing happened on the next day. Thus I realized that when we utter pranam of Guru Maharaj, he is present in this sound. Should I read Prabhu or stop here?
Thank you, Mataji. Next to Meenakshi Mohini.
Hare Krishna. My dear Vaishnav Thakur, kindly accept me as your dog. I am dog already, but I am Maya's dog. I am not Vaishnava's dog. So kindly accept me. Srila Prabhupada's lecture, Bhubaneswar, February 2nd, 1977. Prabhu, I cannot see the beginning there. Yashomati Nandan Das. It is usual way of life and it makes a laughing stock out of the law of nature. The average breakdown of his 24 hours is something like this. 5 hours taking rest, out of which he sleeps for maybe 3.5 hours, and the rest just lies down. 1.5 hours bathing, prasadam, and catering to other bodily needs. 0.5 hours email, 1 hour japa walk, 3 hours rest of japa, puja, artis, gayatris, reading. 4 hours travel, during which he chants, talks to devotees, works on email, takes a little prasadam, or rests. 9 hours preaching, including lectures, kirtans, darshan, managing different projects and other functions. If you observe Guru Maharaj carefully, you will see all Ashtasiddhis present in him. Look, he is so subtle, Anima Siddhi, that he can find small holes in our stone-like hearts and enter into them. He can also find the most subtle ways to pass through the obstacles on the path of our devotional advancement or ISKCON preaching all over the world. He is so great, Mahima Siddhi, that he usually manages the huge zones in India, Russia, America, Canada, and Africa at the same time. His disciples and assistants act as his bodily parts, but his consciousness spread through all these areas and actually even more. As a preacher, he is concerned about the spiritual well-being of all living entities in the entire universe. He is so light, Laghima Siddhi, that his chastisement is like a pleasant breeze, and also he physically spreads more time in the airplanes than one can imagine. So to fly in the air is simply natural for him, and it takes him no extra efforts. Siddhir Bhakti na neti samshaya achuta sevinam nish samshayastu tad bhakta parichraya rakta manam. They who serve the infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead may or may not attain perfection. There is some doubt. But they who devotedly serve the Supreme Lord's devotees will certainly attain perfection. Of that there is no doubt. Varha Purana. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Gurupati Madhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. He does possess Prapti Siddhi. By the Siddhi, one can acquire anything from anywhere. So Guru Maharaj can very easily acquire everything he needs for his preaching activities. Somehow or the other, Krishna always arranges everything for him. Yoga Kshema Vahami Aham. Through Prakamya Siddhi, he can experience any enjoyable object either in this world or the next, but he immediately surrenders everything at the lotus feet of the Lord. Just look at the opulence of the deities in Vrindavan, Bombay or Delhi temples. Through Ishita Siddhi, one can manipulate subpotencies of Maya. Our Guru Maharaj is a great high-tech Swami who uses the latest technology in his preaching activities, from laptops and mobile phones to animatronics shows. Through Vasita Siddhi, one can bring other under one's dominion, and Guru Maharaj brings everything he meets under the dominion of his love and affection. One simply cannot resist his affection, although through this Siddhi, one can keep oneself beyond the control of the three of nature. His travel schedule is a good example of this. Finally, through Kamavashayata, one acquires the maximum powers of control, acquisition, and enjoyment. Yes, through his devotion and dedication to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, he keeps the Lord under his control. Krishna himself becomes his only possession, and he enjoys the unlimited bliss of pure love of Godhead. What can be greater than that? This is just a glimpse of the transcendental qualities of our Gurudeva. And so, by following his instructions, mainly by attentive chanting, keeping good sadhana, and preaching, we can acquire all these qualities, and without enjoying them, use them in the service of the Lord. This is a challenge ahead of us. Hare Krishna. Maui Maura Bhakti Ara Granth Bhagavate Yar Bhed Ache Tar Nash Bhalmate. Sorry, Prabhu. Myself, my devotees, and the scripture Srimad Bhagavatam, one who sees any difference among these three will find that all his intelligence has been destroyed. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavata Madhyakand. Prabhu, little bit scroll up. 21.18, I think so. Yes, Prabhu. Madhyakand 21.18. Hare Krishna. Hare Hare. Should we continue, Prabhu, or? Hello, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'm not getting your voice.
Yeah, I was on mute. I was just going to say, Gopala Prabhu, should we pause here? Since I think this is a new chapter, we can start this problem.
Yes.
At this time, we can take any reflections, realizations, comments, questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Nandadulal Das. Vandana Prabhu, what struck me was when Srimati Devi Dasi was reading, and when she was visiting, when Maharaj was visiting Russia, where Maharaj had actually been poisoned through the KGB. That really, wow, you know, when you see things happening right now nationally, where other folks have actually, that had happened to other folks as well. And so, and then Maharaj coming out of that transcendentally, out of that condition, was really shocking. So through Krishna's mercy, you know, he was protected. So again, thank you for all the wisdom and for all the devotees reading. It's been so inspirational to absorb all this nectar. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Actually, on this poison case, I always used to wonder that during Guru Maharaj's time, the devotees were preaching there. They were persecuted in so many ways and all these things. And I was very curious that, you know, did Guru Maharaj experience something like that? Or how is it that Guru Maharaj, you know, always avoided it? And this reading, that's why these readings are so nice. It actually answered that question. So it's a long time question. So Guru Maharaj was, you know, targeted and attacked, but he was so powerful, he overcame it. It was really surprising, really amazing. Yes, I just see his, you know, I mean, he was just like other devotees, but his personal strength and purity and devotion to Srila Prabhupada didn't let that affect his activities. Thank you, Prabhu.
You have heard about this incident before, and anybody has knowledge about this? Because Guru Maharaj has been few times sick in Russia, but that could be from, never heard about poison issues. Just curious about how come. Maybe we need to discuss with Guru Maharaj at least. At least he can tell us what happened.
Yes, Prabhu.
This is pretty long time ago, mid 80s, right? I think 80s. Or...
90.
Oh.
This is 1990.
Not that time. This time, 1995, he has first heart attack, but this was like few years before. And so never heard about this incidents. At least I have not heard anybody else. I've heard about Guru has never mentioned about it, also never. I'm glad at least you are sick and got better. One thing is sure that in the past, that medical care is not great in Russia. I'm not sure it's great now or not, but there are a lot of things they do that's an American standard they're not supposed to do. But they do. One time, I remember, Guru Maharaj called me because they wanted to clean his colon. That's called cleansing the colon. And he was lined up to do it, and he called me. And I talked to a gastroenterologist in this country, and he said, well, tell him not to do all these things, because this can cause more negative problems than positive. So yeah, Russia is like not sometimes different from Indian medicine concerns. But so yeah, this is but you never heard about this incident, so a little bit surprised that happened.
Actually, Guru Maharaj always downplays things. When you ask him with his health, he always says, "Oh, I'm okay," even though he's not. There might be some medical condition or something. So I'm not surprised that he never really discussed about this poison issue. But I'm pretty sure that it happened because, as was said earlier, the Russians are not. They take every opportunity to poison people.
It's true. That's true.
They don't give up an opportunity to do it. So, but Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj would say, "Well, Krishna saved me."
Wow.
They have this potent poison called Novichok. You can shake somebody's hand, or you could put it in their food, or you could somehow or the other get it in contact with their skin, and they're finished. But definitely, Guru Maharaj was protected by Prabhupada and by Lord Krishna, and he came true. So we're very happy for that.
No, I agree with you that he always likes to his health issues very confidential. He does not discuss, he does not tell the even devotees, not sharing with anybody else. So that's fact. He does not. It's very private in that sense. Unless choice, but he disclosed it.
I remember when Guru Maharaj had his first, I don't know if that was a bypass or an angioplasty or whatever. No, sorry, it wasn't a bypass. I think it was an angioplasty.
Angioplasty.
In the mid-90s in DC.
Yeah.
And I drove to see him. He was staying in Potomac. And I drove down there and I parked. And when I got out of my car, I saw him walking. I said, "Guru Maharaj, should you be walking?" And he said, "Oh, it was something minor. Everything is okay." But he had like 3 devotees with him, and he was walking up and down the pathways on campus chanting. I thought that was amazing. Someone just had a procedure, and like the day before, I think it was, and there he is, just walking around like nothing happened. It's amazing.
Yeah. That is always amazing. Like even the recent angioplasty that Guru Maharaj had in angiography, or was it? Yeah, angiography that he had in Delhi. A relative of mine went through the same exact procedure, and they're saying, it takes like 3 months to recover from this procedure. It's just the test. It takes 3 months, and we had seen Guru Maharaj after 1 week. He was just up and walking. So I was like, I heard that they're going through the same procedure, so I wasn't taken really seriously. Like, look, this is a very serious procedure. Like the recovery period for this is 2 to 3 months, and then they did take 3 months to recover. Prem Leela Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. What I like from Giriraj Swami Maharaj's offering to our Maharaj is Giriraj Maharaj said that he is more flexible and practical. And I think we all have experienced it from Maharaj, that he's very flexible and he's very practical, and he never gives advice that we have to sacrifice something that we are not wish to, like the job, etc. He always encourages that, yes, you can do your job, but just attentively chant 16 rounds. And then Giriraj Maharaj told that like looking at Maharaj, I can go to do I can do any sacrifices and extend my energy level to any level to do my services to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So I was thinking in my mind that for his god brothers also, Maharaj sets such a wonderful example that they look up to him. And then from Sachinandana Maharaj's offering, it was very nice that Maharaj says that whether it is a small place or it's a big palatial place. Maharaj doesn't live in places, but he lives in Prabhupada's mission. So that was something very inspiring. That he always he's not affected by the material facilities or comforts, but he always thinks about how he can serve Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. That is very inspirational. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone have any comment or further on that point?
Yeah, in that regard, I think if you see that Guru Maharaj, until last maybe 10 years, he never stayed in any disciple's home. He always stayed in the temple. Even the temple facility is not great. If he goes to Juhu, if he goes to New York, even temple, it's not very good situation. Still, he likes to stay. One time we booked the hotel across the temple, and he didn't want to stay there. So he always, the temple is the, and the deity is close. He lives. He doesn't care. So that's fact.
You also had one experience in 2004 when we went to Jagannath Puri along with him.
Yes.
And we had a 5-star hotel and his room was booked too. And there was no facility practically in that small temple in Puri. And last minute he says, no, I'm going to temple and I'm going to stay there. And we were all kind of shocked to know that, and also disappointed because we thought, we can hang around with Guru Maharaj as much even in a hotel, and he just stayed in the temple. So that is Guru Maharaj.
Yes, there's some feedback. From
one of Guru Maharaj's godbrothers.
They need to mute they need to mute. Everyone should mute. Only please unmute when you're not speaking. Yes, there is some feedback. I think Divya Bhakti Mataji is waiting, so she can comment. Thanks.
Bhakti Yoga Prabhu, you can finish your thought and then we'll give you Bhakti.
No, I was saying one of Guru Maharaj's godbrothers, I won't name him, he came to Toronto and he stayed in a hotel for several days. And I knew he was here. He knew me. I knew him. He told me, don't tell the devotees of the temple that I'm here. So Guru Maharaj knows that this person was coming to Toronto frequently. So when he came next time, he says, Bhakti Yoga, does so-and-so come to the temple? And I said, no, Maharaj. He told me not to tell anyone that he's here. He goes, really? I said, yeah, that's what he told me. So I'm just respecting his wishes. He says, but I always come to the temple. I said, I know, Guru Maharaj, but not everyone is you. Again, I wouldn't say who it was, but I think some of you know who it is. Anyway, so I thought that was interesting. Guru Maharaj, just like his face, it looked just like a little boy. Really? I said, yes, Guru Maharaj. But yeah, Guru Maharaj always took, like, anytime he's come here, I can't think of any time that he stayed at a devotee's house. He always stayed at the temple. Even the last few years when it became more difficult for him because, as many of you know, Toronto Temple doesn't have an elevator. It's a very old building. Interesting enough, it was erected in 1896. Anyone know how significant that year was? It's the year that Srila Prabhupada appeared on this earth. So anyway, that building doesn't have an elevator, and Guru Maharaj would normally stay upstairs in what we call Prabhupada's quarters. Prabhupada actually stayed there in 1976 when he came to Toronto for the second time. But unfortunately, for the last few years, 2-3 years, times that Guru Maharaj came, he couldn't go up and stay there. So he's been staying in the basement. But in spite of the difficulties having to climb so many stairs, Guru Maharaj still stayed in the temple and not stay outside where it could be more comfortable. He could be in an elevator. There's a hotel just a block and a half. There's a Howard Johnson hotel down the street from the temple that he could easily stay there and use elevators to go up and down, but he wouldn't do that. He stays in the temple.
Yeah,
So back
Prabhu.
to
The only time he doesn't stay if the temple doesn't have any accommodation for devotees to stay. And that's the only time he doesn't stay, like, if the temple doesn't. And some temples, they don't make accommodation for the visiting sannyasis. And the thing is that if the if the sages like Guru Maharaj, if they cannot stay in the temples, then who can stay, right? And then where are they to stay, and where are people to get their mercy? And so I was just thinking, he's also setting an example in that way, like because sometimes it's easier for temples not to have any ashram, not to have any guest facilities, it is easier that way. But then the spirit is lost, and he really shows that by his example. That like this last time when he came to Toronto, as you mentioned, Toronto, he couldn't go up the stairs, so Guru Maharaj decided to stay in the basement, right? Even the basement, and everyone was begging him, this time, Maharaj, please stay in someone's home, because physically you simply cannot go up all those stairs. So okay, no, I'll go down the stairs. So Divya Bhakti Mataji.
But then he still had to go up the stairs to get back up to take darshan, and he took darshan all the time and was doing arti all the time. And Hare Krishna, I love when all of you are saying, telling us about Guru Maharaj's Leela. It gives me shivers. I could listen to it forever. It's so wonderful. Thank you. The one thing that, there were so many things in today's reading that were incredible, but one of the things that really struck me was the potency of his pranam mantra. And I guess intellectually, I always knew that the pranam mantra is the same as Guru Maharaj. But in the example that Dravida Dasa Prabhu gave, all these examples of his personal experience with it, then that really struck it, really struck a nerve and helped me to really realize that it is true. And so I think it'll help me with thinking about when I'm saying the pranam mantra, that to really recognize that Guru Maharaj is right here, so that I don't long quite so much for being in his physical presence, although that's always the case. But I can just enjoy looking at his photo and saying the pranam mantra. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can you remind us what was it that Dravida Prabhu said about his pranam mantra that made you realize his presence?
Well, he was saying, he was he was telling about when he would prepare the prasadam, and while he was saying the mantra, the first time, all of a sudden Guru Maharaj just appears there, and then the next time Guru Maharaj was out, giving lectures or something, and then the food was ready, and he felt upset because Guru Maharaj wasn't there to honor the prasadam. And so then he just started to do the offering and say Guru Maharaj's mantra, and all of a sudden the doorbell rings and there he is, and I guess it happened again. They just said that we'd say the mantra, and all of a sudden physically he's right there. So I guess we can just think, we say the mantra, and then in our minds, here he is.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for yes, it's amazing. Anyone would like to further comment on that?
Well, when I chant Guru Maharaj's Pranam Mantra, I usually immediately think about Prabhupada's books and preaching. Automatically comes in my mind. And same time, Prabhupada's mission also. This mantra is a full mantra. I mean, if you study word by word, it's just very, very highly intellectually, create the mantra. And I think mantra was created by Loknath Swami. That's I thought.
Came up with this mantra together. So Devakinanda told me.
We can't hear you, Prabhuji, clearly.
Shyam Krishna Prabhu, could you please repeat what you said about the mantra?
Yes, Devakinanda Prabhu told me that our Guru Maharaj Pranam Mantra was created by Loknath Maharaj along with his help. So two of them came up with the mantra. Mantra that reflects really Guru Maharaj.
Can you repeat again? We no understood.
He's saying that Loknath Maharaj and Devakinandan Prabhu, they helped in writing Guru Maharaj's Pranam Mantra.
Yes.
Probably with the assistance of some more Sanskrit scholars, they put together the mantra, but someone has to write it. And it's only proper that senior devotees, they write the mantras. So they wrote it, and it very much, Prabhu was saying, mirrors Guru Maharaj's mood and who he is.
So Pranam Mantra coming when he got sannyas, this time, right? Not before.
No, when he became Guru.
Yeah.
Yes, when he became Guru. Okay, so last time we ended really late. I was thinking this time we can end a little early, just to balance things out.
I think devotees did request me, we should try to keep on time. So I think 11:15 latest we should end. Of course, Janardhan Maharaj class is different. That will be about 2 hours. But yeah, we should try to. Multiple devotees sent me a private message that more people would join if you kept, because otherwise they have to leave early.
Yes, Prabhu, for sure. We'll keep it to time.
Well, you can officially end the meeting, and then people can hang around and chit chat, whatever they want to do. There's nothing else to do. You can continue on the Zoom. It's a fun time.
Sure.
Officially declare that meeting is ended.
Advaita Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Meeting ended now.
No, give a little bit update for Guru Maharaj. 1 week. You both only know. So give little bit update for Guru Maharaj. Then end.
There's no update, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Guru Maharaj is busy in his schedules, and we don't bother him. He does not bother us also.
You like to be bothered by him.
Everybody waiting 1 week. Update for you only both. For you. Give us.
It's not Prabhu. Guru Maharaj is very busy. We don't call him necessarily. Unless there's something else. So there's no news, means good news.
That's right.
Next week,
I have a request, please.
Next week, Janardhan Maharaj will give update, right?
Sure, no update.
Yes.
He's very close to him. He's in touch with him, and he can. So next meeting, everybody should be there. We can announce that everybody should be joining 100%. So that way, everybody hear directly from Janardhan Maharaj's mouth
Krishna Baladev Prabhu, sorry, you were speaking. You're on mute.
Mr. Baldev.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I have a request about the dates. If we can come up with little tentative plan, like 3 days before the 14th of August, like what's the tentative planning so people can start booking?
Yes, that's next
Please.
week. Janardhan Maharaj will make sure that will be on his agenda. He'll discuss about that.
Thank you, Vibhu.
Yep. Okay, we'll end.
Okay.
Okay, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripasinubhyo
Hare Krishna.
Oh, Maharaj ki jai.
Hari Bol. Jai.
Raj ki.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.